Okay, so slope is your M. Now we're going to have an intercept, and more specifically, it's your y-intercept. Okay, so it's going to be where your line crosses your y-axis. Okay? No, Rico, don't do that. Don't do that. Nope. Just, we're going to do the note. We're not stapling. She's stapling it. That's it. We're not stapling. We're not stapling this in. Okay.
That's what you said.
No. Charlotte is stapling because she can't use her hand. So it's okay.
Stapling in the first place.
Because I thought we needed to staple it.
It's okay. Okay. So your y-intercept is going to always have an x value of 0. Cornelius. Okay? So y-intercept will always have an x value of 0. And then we'll have some number, which we are going to represent by the letter B, as your y value. Okay? And it's B because that's where you're going to begin to graph anything that has a slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is the equation y equals mx plus b. Okay? So m is your slope, and your slope always goes with your x. And b is going to be where it crosses your y-axis. That number. Okay? Most of you should be familiar and should have seen slope-intercept before. Okay? So if you open this up, okay, for questions 1 and 2, it says identify the slope and the y-intercept of each graph below. Compare it to the equation of the line. What do you notice? Okay, we counted slope last week. And so if I'm going to count slope, just looking at this graph, will this slope be positive or negative? Positive. It's going in an upward direction. Okay, so I'm going to count my slope. 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be 3 over, and then I'm going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3/5 is your slope. Now I need to know my y-intercept. So your y-axis is your vertical axis, and I need to know the point right here where it crosses the y. So this is going to be at 0, -2. If I compare my slope with my slope of my graph up here, remember your slope is always with your x. Notice they're in the same. And if I can compare my y-intercept, which is -2, with my b value, notice they are the same. Monday, when we learned point slope, you learned that you always take the opposite. When you learn slope-intercept, you don't take the opposite. It's exactly what it's stated on your formula. So if this is -2, your y-intercept will also be -2. Okay, so looking at number 2, positive or negative slope on number 2? Negative. And so I'm going to count that. So I'm going to go down. So that's -3. And how far over, Cornelius? 6? Okay. And then I have to look for my y-intercept. So I'm going to go on my y-axis until it crosses my graph, which it crosses my graph right there. And I'm going to write that ordered pair. So it is 0, 3. Okay, so we're going to again compare. If I look at my equation and I look at my slope, they're not the same. This slope is negative 3/6 and this slope is negative 1/2. It's simplified. We have talked about this numerous times. You have to simplify that slope. So when you write it in Math Excel or when I give you a piece of paper, because tomorrow the project will be paper and pencil, okay? So, a little hard for you, but we'll figure it out, okay? And make sure that you have it reduced. Questions on being able to look at that graph and find that information? Okay, the next is slope-intercept form. So if you look at 3 and 4, what form are they in right now? Point slope. Okay? So I need to change it from point slope to slope-intercept. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So in other words, we did literal equations like 3 weeks ago. In a literal equation, we solve for a letter. It's the same thing. We're solving for y. Okay? You will have fractions, so you might need your calculator if you can't multiply fractions very well. So the first thing I'm going to do is distribute the 1/2. So y minus 2 equals 1/2 x. 1/2 times 4 is 2. Distributive property was one of the very first things that we learned in here. If you forget it, turn back to that part in your notebook. Okay? Then, if I need this just to be y equals, how do I move this negative 2? So I'm going to add 2. Now, do I add this 2 to the 1/2 x or to just the 2 over here? Correct. And so I get y equals 1/2 x plus 4.
So do you plug the problem in?
Now that we're finished, because we put it in slope-intercept form, that's slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is state the slope. So what is the slope? You're going to put either the word slope or the letter m. 1/2.
Why do we use the letter
I will explain that, but I'm going to go on with the notes since I'm recording, and then I'll explain it once we get done recording, because it only records for so long.
notes or recording class?
We're recording the class,
Why?
because I do it periodically, and I usually always do it 5th bell, and I decided to do it 3rd bell today. Okay, so your y-intercept is going to be an ordered pair. The x value of a y-intercept is always 0, and then I'm going to look up here, and it's 4. The x-intercept has to be written as an ordered pair, always. Okay? Why is the x always 0? Because if I want to put anything on the y-axis, I don't move left or right. Make sense? Always going to be 0. Okay, so looking at number 4. You guys do this. Distribute the negative 5/2 and see what you come up with.
God bless you.
Okay, so if we're looking at this, you should have y plus 9 equals negative 5/2 x minus 15. Okay, Brittany. You're welcome. And then I'm going to subtract 9. And so I get y equals negative 5 halves x minus
Where do we get 13?
24.
I was trying to finish.
Thank you.
Where did we get 15 from?
Liz said she'd show you. Are you leaving, Brittany? Okay.
Negative 5 divided by 2 times 6 in the calculator.
Tell them that. Get them that.
Okay, what is your slope? You have to be able to look at it and state your slope. Negative 5 over 2. And you have to be able to look at it and state your y-intercept, which is an ordered pair.
Negative 24.
Thank you. Questions on changing that form? Okay. Okay, the inside. Okay, so on all of these papers, since we're doing slope-intercept, it's y equals mx plus b. I'm giving you the slope, so this is your m value, and I'm giving you a y-intercept. So that's the ordered pair 0, 3. You need to be able to write it both ways, okay, and understand a y-intercept is an ordered pair. Can you write the equation then? Can you substitute it in to this formula?
Yes.
Okay, and so in order to do that, I would have y equals 2x plus 3. Put the 2 in for the m, put the 3 in, or your y-intercept for your b. Okay, basically I give it to you, you just have to put them in the right spot. Okay, so number 2. Who thinks they can write down number 2? Go ahead, Cornelius.
Y equals negative 1x plus 4.
Okay, do I have to put the 1 there? Could I just put negative x?
Negative x here.
Yes, you could also put just negative x plus 4. It will accept either one. Okay? Good questions. Okay, number 3. You have a slope of 0, so this is your m, and you have a y-intercept of negative 2. It would be. Not up and down, but left to right.
Y equals
So this would be 0x minus 2. Now what's 0 times x? So we would just put y equals negative 2. Okay, that's a special case because that is just a horizontal line. That will be. That's a favorite of math excels.
So it got to be y equals minus negative 2.
Yep. Okay, and then you have a slope of negative 3/4 or 3/5 going through the origin. What ordered pair is your origin? 0, 0. So this would be y equals,
Negative 3, 5, 8.
do I put plus 0? No. Math Excel is not going to allow you to do that plus 0. So it will allow you to put 1 in or a negative 1, but not the 0. Okay, so what if I give you the same information, but this time it's in a graph? Okay, so instead of me telling you what the slope is, you're going to have to figure out what the slope is. So on this problem, does it matter which of the points I choose? No. No, so just choose 2 of them. So I will choose, I'm going to choose these 2. No reason, I just chose those. So my slope, Charlotte, since you can't write anything down, your slope is going to be over 1, which is the same thing as negative 2, which she just said negative 2, but you might have it as negative 2 over 1. And then your y-intercept. Again, this is your y-axis, the one that goes up and down, and I'm going to look for where those cross each other, where they intersect. And that is going to be the ordered pair 0, 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so write the equation. So the equation, Charlotte, would be y equals
Negative 2x plus 4.
okay, slope on the next problem. Who can tell me the slope? Go ahead, Rick. Yes, you do. Count up.
1 to
Okay, so this is 2 over, and then count over.
4 back.
2/5. Okay? Then I'm going to look for where they intersect, and they intersect right here at your origin. So that's the ordered pair 0, 0. Write your equation.
Wouldn't it be 0, 2?
No, it's 0, 0.
Why is it? Oh. Oh, okay. I get it.
So your equation would be y equals 2/5 x. Are we good with writing equations? Okay. So when we get this information, there's 3 things that I need to see. So when I ask you to graph something, you're going to do 3 steps. The first one is you're going to state the slope. So in other words, m equals your rise over your run. So you're going to tell me what m is. Okay. The next step is you are going to state your y-intercept, which will always be an ordered pair 0, comma, b. Always. Okay? B. That's the letter that's represented in our formula.
I think that was my idea.
Okay.
Can I go in?
Yeah. Okay, and then this third step is graph y-intercept, then slope. So you're going to graph your ordered pair, and then you're going to count rise over run to get your next point. Okay, so for the example, your slope is 2/3. Your y-intercept is the ordered pair 0, -1. And so I'm going to go 0, -1. So in other words, I'm going down 1 on my y-axis. And then I'm going to go up 2, right 3. And then I know you don't have straight edges. Tomorrow for your project you'll have a straight edge, but connect them. Okay? So if I look at problem number 1, Bailey, what's your slope? 1/3. And your ordered pair would be 0. What? What? -4. And so I'm going to go down 4, and then a slope, so I'm going to go up 1, right 3. Number 2, slope. Zach, what's your slope on number 2? -5. And your y-intercept would be 0, 3. So I'm going to go 0. I'm going to go up 3 on my y-axis. Now, here's the question, Zach. My slope just says -5, but slope is rise over run. Okay? So what do I put under the -5? Okay, so from this ordered pair, Zach, am I going to go up or down if I have -5? Down. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then right 1. Okay, number 3. If all I have is an x there, what's the number in front of the x for my slope? 1. And my y-intercept would be 0, 2. So I'm going to go up 2 on my y-axis. This 1 would be really 1 over 1. And number 4, your slope for number 4 will be 3. And my ordered pair is going to be 0, 0, 0. Very good. So I'm at 0, 0. And remember, this is going to be 3 over 1, so I'm up 3 over 1. Okay. What I need you to do now, we have time? Oh, we have plenty of time. Is the first 4 problems. Now, this one is not numbered. So you have 1, 2, 3, and then the not numbered problem. Okay, so you're going to do that right now in your notebook.